We do it live.
Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome to the Red Pill. Yeah, so this is the show where we talk about mysteries, alternative history, and the so called conspiracy theories that, as you know, often end up to be confirmation theories. Tonight, we talk about market manipulation. If you think you're trading against other human beings in a market, you're living in a fantasy. Over 70 to 80% of every dollar moving through Wall Street and crypto today is a machine. So, do you guys think it's possible? I have a question for you guys, Mike and Jeff. Do you think it's possible for us human beings to compete with those algorithmic trained machines?
Well, I know that there is.
Mm.
And I kind of want to talk about like a broader topic, just as far as just kind of manipulation in general. Just the manipulation of society. So we can feel free to branch it out. But as far as markets, I mean, we know that they're manipulated. J.P. Morgan has been dinged a couple of times by the U.S. government and fined for manipulating the silver market. I mean, there's market manipulation of all kinds. So, I mean, it's not a matter of if, it's just how much and, kind of how centralized is the manipulation. I mean, is it just a bunch of people trying to get a leg up on each other? Or is there like this, grand master that has his tentacles or her tentacles down in everything and is freaking, pulling all the strings? That's the question.
What do you think, Jeff?
There's definitely manipulation. I mean, if you want to even look at COVID with the transfer of wealth and the whole stock, like I was trading stocks back then, and man, people were just going crazy when the market crashed. And, you kind of compare that to 2000 when the dot-com bubble popped.
Yeah.
And you just got to think, like, how many people are investing in these stocks thinking there's just going to keep going up and up and up, and then they lose everything. And the people behind the scenes know that stuff like that's going to happen. So they position themselves in a way that they can extract that liquidity and not get burned in the process. And that also, like Mike was saying on a broader topic, the manufactured outbreaks and stuff, you instill fear into people and they're going to act irrationally, and you can basically control them however you see fit. So it kind of goes into other areas of life as well. So
you guys probably watched this video. I want to know if you think there was a little bit of an insider trading here. Listen.
He says, Paulo, you got to read a bedtime story at the end of these episodes. He's talking about your voice, the velvet, the velvet Brazilian.
Well, thank you. That's I'm not available. Okay, I'm single and everything, but I'm not available.
He's very particular about who he reads bedtime stories to.
Oh yeah, can I share this quick video? Once again, were you able to see it?
Oh, let's see.
You guys probably watch. Yeah, it's a quick video about this.
I understand that Mike is also working to bring hyperliquid into the United States.
Look at his face. You see his
Whoa.
face? People said that is the face of a dude that longed hyperliquid 100x leverage before. Because he has like a look at his face. Like,
It's in a fully
I'm so happy he's
compliant
mentioning.
and legal fashion. It's working very hard on that.
That's everything.
Well,
Yeah.
bring it. What he's talking about hyperliquid.
Hyperliquid. Yeah.
So we covered that in today's morning show. So basically, the long and the short of it is that they're looking to make sure that there isn't any regulatory issues with hyperliquid here in the United States, which is very bullish news. And the price has reflected it. But it was one of the criticisms, that we had, or not criticisms, concerns that we had about hyperliquid, and kind of the price and its performance and things like that. Because if it came out to where hyperliquid wasn't, legally able to operate in the United States, that potentially could have been very bearish, for it. So yeah, I mean. We were very happy to see, because I mean I hold hype, and I don't think David does, but I hold hype, and I'm very bullish on it. But you got to be real, it's a concern, and that's one way that markets are manipulated, is through legislation. They pick the winners. And
are you guys against insider trading?
That's what I was about to get to. Is the people that make the laws, they're getting rich off of trading stocks. So they know the news. It's the definition of insider trading. They know news or information that is not open to the general public, and they are trading off that information. It is the literal legal definition of insider trading. And Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell and all of them do it, and it's legal for them. It's
100% legal.
Then you have Martha Stewart, that sold some of her stock or something like that, and she ended up doing like years in jail. Like, I might have been prison.
Right, I remember.
Yeah, little old Martha Stewart, that does the cooking shows and stuff like that.
Yeah. The Fight Club.
They sent her to freaking prison for like a couple of years, I'm wanting to say, or at least a year, for insider trading.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you think Nancy Pelosi got hundreds of millions of dollars? Her family had some money, but she went from being like tens of millions to hundreds of millions during her time in office. You look at
you're saying this because you think that just because she's a woman, she cannot be a good trader.
No, not at all. Did I say that at all? No. In any way, shape, or form? No.
But I wonder if that's kind of misogynistic for you to say. Just because she's a woman, she cannot be a better trader than Warren Buffett, Paul Tudor Jones.
You're the one that brought gender into it. I was talking about her being a politician. It's like, I didn't bring any part of gender into it. She's just the one that's most famous for it.
He's playing the Democrat today.
No, he's trying to cause a little bit of friction and controversy on the show, but it's like I did not say anything about her gender.
But that's the thing,
I would never assume her gender.
I don't know. If you take a look at those honkers, man, you wouldn't have to assume.
Back in the day, like way back in the day, she was actually kind of attractive.
Yep.
Now you're in the gossip territory. I think her husband kind of had like a friction, like with a lover. Wasn't there something like that? You remember a guy like whatever Pelosi that?
Yeah, they say that the guy that.
Do you remember that? It was like a strange video of a guy
that came in the house with the hammer.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That one.
They said that they say that they knew each other. So. Whether that's true, I mean, it was kind of a weird situation, but, I love watching the clips of Pelosi being asked if she ever talks to her husband about her business dealings and stuff. And she's like, oh, no. And then
no,
she's
never.
like, well, it's a free market.
Yeah, but supposedly her husband is better than Warren Buffett. Her husband's like the Nostradamus of fucking traders. It's insane.
I'm pretty sure.
And then on the other side,
like number one.
It's not just Democrats. I mean, there's the other side too. You got Donald Trump who's launching meme coins, and freaking, making
and
billions
he's selling
of
his
dollars.
tweets. He's selling his tweets. Have you seen that? He's selling his
Yeah.
tweet.
He's
Like, what the
giving
fuck?
early access to his tweets that
Yeah,
basically
man.
manipulate the market.
Like
Oh,
60,000 a month or something
It-
crazy.
like I said, like we call it like we see it. We left, right, Democrat, Republican, and XRP, Maxi, whatever. We just call it how we fucking see it. And
Mhm.
facts are facts. That is the beauty of facts and data and logic, is that it is what it is. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter. There is no gray area with facts, logic, and reason. It's just, that's why it's such a beautiful thing to dwell there and not look for endorphin hits of people telling you that your token or your stock is going to go to some ridiculous number. You're being
Right.
manipulated. Anytime you
We
start to
are.
feel emotional, you're being manipulated for the most part,
Right.
because
Mhm.
that's like step one when you're learning how to like influence people, as far as like it's called human, basically human intelligence, when you're developing an asset, and trying to build a relationship with somebody so they'll give you information, like spycraft and all that stuff. Like, one of the things that you do is that you build an emotional connection. That's why a lot of times, like, they sleep with the person or something like that, is you
Right.
build an emotional connection, because when you're in an emotional state, your brain doesn't think logically. It's just a biological fact. It's why we make stupid decisions whenever a girl likes us. It's just it's just human nature. So yeah, anytime you start feeling like those endorphin hits, like they're saying sweet things to you to to coax you in, it's usually you're being manipulated.
I
Man,
agree.
Christopher Voss is an awesome dude to listen to, because he was a hostage negotiator
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yep.
And man, just learning his tactics on how to get people to trust him and give him information and
I
de-escalating situations.
dude, I forget the guy's name. He's been on
Chase
Joe
Hughes.
Rogan.
Chase
that?
Hughes. Chase Hughes, I think.
Chase. Thank you, Paulo. That is
Yeah.
exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell the audience who he is? 'Cause
Yeah.
He's a professional manipulator. I think he was a
CIA.
negotiator. Yeah,
No,
CIA.
he was. I want to say he was in the CIA and did like spycraft and stuff like that. And he basically, opened the book, like everything he's legally allowed to tell. He has been like, this is how you do it, and this is. He's actually gone down to Central America, and he has gotten really big lately into psychedelics. Like
Himself?
Oh,
DMT,
yeah.
Chase Hughes?
DMT and mushrooms and stuff. Yeah, he did like a super in-depth one. So he got an IV and had
wow.
so
I
he
thought
had
he was a
drip.
square.
Oh,
I thought he was like super
No,
known.
that's what I thought too. But dude, he went
well,
under.
he had something happen recently, I think.
It was like
that made him.
Yes, Jeff, you
Wow.
are right. He went under for like, I think it's like 30 or 45 minutes. Usually when you do DMT, it feels like a very long time, but it's usually very quick. But he got on an IV drip that kept him in that state for like 30 or 45 minutes.
Ibogaine or something like that, or just DMT?
No, it was a DMT drip.
Wow.
And it was just that perfect dose that kept him at that level, and he had doctors monitoring and stuff like that. It was a whole professional thing. But yeah,
would you be open to doing something like that? Controlled DMT exposure?
Honestly, I would. I would do that, and I actually might. You have to leave the country to do it, but I would. I am very interested. Almost everybody I know that has like done a decent amount of psychedelics or had certain experiences on psychedelics, it's like, I mean, it's life-changing for some, and in physical ways. I mean, there's some people who will take mushrooms or DMT and be alcoholics and never crave a drink again after one time. Heroin addicts and like drug addicts, same thing. It's only like a certain percentage of people, but they do it once and it's just like boom, it's like a reset button.
Ibogaine.
Right. Yeah. Joe Rogan talks a lot about Ibogaine. You probably know it's like an African brew, and they take it. As far as I know, it's.
I've heard of it, but I'm not very familiar with it.
Yeah, it's an African brew that they use specifically for addiction. There is the ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is legal in Brazil. It's a brew with DMT in it. And some people they take that for addiction. But ibogaine is specially designed for it's not especially designed, but that's what's mostly used for.
Melissa says hello, Paulo.
Hi, Melissa.
Do you know Melissa?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you were getting groupies already. Oh, I'm kidding. It's your voice.
So I know I'm from Brazil, so ayahuasca is perfectly legal there.
Yeah.
So I took ayahuasca for a few years actually.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
What was your experiences with that?
Oh my god. Yeah, we're gonna have like a whole podcast about it.
Let's, dude. You know the red pill just goes where the red pill goes. we don't control the red pill. The red pill controls us.
Okay, so
how did you start doing it? Because that's not something that you just kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to do this.
Oh, it's a long story, my friend. But I used to be an atheist, and I believed in everything like materialistic, only material. I didn't see anything. I didn't believe in anything spiritual until I took acid. So my first acid trip, I saw the devil, and I was able to interact with something. I just like hallucinated and saw that at least there are certain things inside of our own minds. So that kind of naturally led me to ayahuasca. But that's over 10 years ago now. And I took ayahuasca from 2014 up to 2018 or 2019 for a few years, actually. It's like the ayahuasca ceremony in Brazil. And it's a kind of brew with DMT in it that you take and you go into a deep meditative trance for at least 4 hours. And it's a very inner spiritual experience. I wouldn't recommend it to no one. It was very important to me while I did it. I saw many things about my childhood, my life, what I need to do, like a lot of knowledge, self-knowledge.
I'll be right back.
Did you have that purging effect?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you have to go on like a special diet for a few weeks before, right? To help cleanse your body and
some people say that you go like eat fruits and vegetables like 3 days before. Yeah, you're really informed about it. That's right. That's what they do.
Oh yeah, man. I've been taking psychedelics since like 2011.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But have you taken ayahuasca or DMT?
I've done DMT. I've had they have like the vape cartridges, but I've also had the powder form, the crystals, and you it lasts only like 5 to 15 minutes if you smoke it, because in ayahuasca it doesn't break down in the body as quickly as when you smoke it, so it lasts a lot longer. And also, like what Mike was saying with the IV, they can do controlled dosages where it'll last a lot longer and keep you in that state. So smoking it's not, and it's kind of harsh if you smoke it. It's really rough. But I haven't done ayahuasca yet. That's one thing that I want to do. But yeah, it's I've watched a lot of documentaries and stuff and heard experiences, but yeah, the DMT was pretty interesting. But yeah, LSD
it takes you there like in a second.
It's pretty quick. You feel very strange. I felt like I had shapes and objects like coming out of my body. It was really weird, but it wasn't like scary, but definitely worth the experience.
Right. And now we have the CIA guy, Chase Hughes, taking DMT or ayahuasca or something like that.
And so, and that what made you stop? Did you get all you needed to get out of it? Because that's one thing that I think it was Richard Feynman, or I forget who it was, but they say, when you get all the information you need, hang up the phone. Don't keep picking up that psychedelic phone just because you want a trip. If you feel like if you've gotten all you need out of it, then hang it up.
That's pretty much how I felt. Whenever I took ayahuasca, I would have an anxiety attack, and that was very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. So I always powered through it so I could get to the other side because there was so much information in it.
Do you guys mind really quick if we stream the game show? They're talking about XRP, and David is giving his take on it right now.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah, I want to watch it.
All right. I'm gonna share this. Let's see. There we go.
No volume.
In the future, maybe we might have, possibly could, if there's never anything real, man, there's no substance there. And when there is, it's the Ripple Labs on Ripple Prime, and ODL has no connection to the XRP ledger. And if you hold XRP, the coin, you're kind of shit out of luck, man, because there's no value capture for you. So could XRP, the coin, pump? Sure. But it's going to be 100% speculative because there's no value there. It doesn't do anything. You can't do anything on the XRP ledger. And Ripple Labs doesn't use the XRP ledger for much of anything at all. All of that value that's transacted is done by Ripple Labs ODL and Ripple Prime. None of it takes place on XRP ledger. And even worse, there is no value capture for that XRP coin on the XRP ledger. I challenge any of you guys, go out and try to operate in DeFi on XRP ledger. You know why you can't? Because it doesn't exist. There's nothing being built there. There is no there. And then when I take a look around the space and I look at what Canton Network is building, dude, it's just amazing to see the same banks and institutions that Ripple Labs.
I don't know how people can listen to what David says and what I say on the Node Show and not get this. I mean, you can go fact check this stuff yourself. I mean, it is freaking, all of it is out of the Ripple white paper, the XRP ledger, XRP. It's insane to me, the amount of people that just blindly believe. Yeah, no, basically.
Better chance of FBI agents going into the Ripple Labs offices than there is for XRP to go to $20 by 2030. That's what I think. So not a chance.
Yeah, so hold all of those. Canton, we're going to talk a little bit about price later for Canton in particular. Right now, we're focused on XRP. Shook, what do you have to add to this?
Man, I'll be even just slightly nicer than David. Ran the numbers on this. That would have to put XRP somewhere near a $1.2 trillion market cap, a little above, a little below. That is very stiff competition. Like, even if we give it the softball and say XRP is required for all of these services, you got RLUSD would have to be a top stablecoin and beat out USDC and Tether, give it some very stiff competition. And Circle and Tether are not just going to sit here and watch this happen. So even if you tie in X402 and these other things, I think XRP has a tough chance making it out of $10. Ripple's still selling 200-ish million XRP a month. That's a stiff climb. The XRP army is tired of getting dumped on. They don't even have the community right now. We'll see.
That's a clippable moment right there. XRP's community. What? Okay. Check out the actually David. He actually just went live with two people, Mikkel and also Jake Claver. So there's a lot of community still there, I think. But Millie, what do you think?
Well,
but they're not getting dumped on. I thought, isn't that what people are saying? We're not getting dumped on.
Yeah. No, it's super interesting engaging with that, that whole community, because it's kind of weird because 5-6 years ago when I got into crypto and I first bought XRP, I believed all of that because it sounds sexy. I mean, it's replacing Swift. It's replacing. It's the new rails for the financial system. Everything's going to be on the XRPL. You know, I mean, it sounded, it made sense because I knew that it needed an upgrade. So, and I just thought that XRP was the only thing out there that was doing it. And at the time, it kind of was that was going for that use case. Now the market is saturated. I mean, you got, Kita, that that we pointed out some issues with. You got Canton that we're bullish on and is seeing actual adoption and actual dApps being built, and it's generating millions of dollars a day in revenue and fees. I mean, it's making money. It actually makes money. Like, it's profitable, like a business should. Ripple, it isn't profitable. It's like the reason that they are able to stay in business and buy more companies is by dumping XRP out of an escrow account that they have. That 1 billion XRP tokens get unlocked monthly. And you heard them talking about it. At least 200 to 300 million of them are dumped and sold every month.
And Mike, for how long can they keep dumping the token on the users? For how long
I have not personally done the math, but I've heard people say, and take it with a grain of salt, that it's well past 2030.
Right. So there we go. So there you go. So you have a long way to go.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got a minute. And that's if they sold all the tokens every month. Currently they're not. They're only selling like 20, 30%.
And they might be able to create some more tokens.
Man, moneymaker, you know what? I'm gonna give you I'm gonna send you a trophy. I'm gonna send you a participation trophy for showing up for every show. You're even showing up for the red pill, brother.
You're here.
You know what? You might be my nemesis, but I love you, man. I love you, man.
We love having you, man.
I honestly do.
And engaging in the chat.
Dude, anyone with thick skin, I don't care what your point of view is. If you, as long as you like to debate and scuff knuckles, but you're not going to cry about it, dude. And Moneymaker never cries about it. That's what I love about him.
And he has a lot of conviction. And I think that conviction is important.
It's misplaced, but it's conviction.
Conviction is important because
it is.
If it's going down, only people with conviction will actually hold and maybe buy some more. So conviction does play a role.
No. I mean, it's good to have conviction, but you can't let it cloud your logic and your reason. You can't let emotion, you can't make decisions purely off emotion. If you're going to be successful in business and in life and just, anytime, I mean, just think about your whole life. Every good thing or every good decision you made, I can pretty much guarantee that you weren't in an emotional state. Pretty much all of our bad decisions are like when you're drunk, you're under the influence of something, some cute girl, shows an interest, and so you blow all your money buying her drinks all night or something. It's every stupid decision that we make is usually an emotional one.
I agree with you that we should be
angry,
rational.
You're angry, you're happy, you're turned on, whatever it is. An emotion is what led you down the path to ruin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, COVID was one of the perfect examples of this because I had family and friends who were not wanting to be around me because I didn't want to get the shot. And they kept saying all this stuff and like pressuring me. And I'm like, look, I have this conviction that this is not right, at least for myself. And the things I see coming from the people in charge, trusting the science. And I'm like, no,
dude.
So
the poll question on the game show, freaking XRP will reach $20 by the end of 2030.
Did they say yes?
70% disagreed.
Oh yeah.
So that means that they don't think it's going to get to that. So, dude, the message is getting out there. Like people are starting to understand.
I think that whole panel was in agreement with each other, is what it sounded like.
No. Maximus is a hardcore XRP
Oh, is he?
bull.
Okay.
There was like I think it was the bottom three.
Yeah.
David, I forget his name, and I forget his name.
Okay.
Because Black
Doc?
Roo, this is Tim, or Doc. This is Maximus.
Yeah.
In the middle is Crux. David, bottom right. I forget his name, and then shit, I should know his name. I've chatted with him on X a couple of times. But
Crypto Millie and
Millie, that's it. Millie, yes.
Shook. Shook is in the middle, bottom
That's
middle.
That's
Okay.
it. Shook. All right. So anyway.
Oh.
But what do you guys think? I think it's important to be logical and rational. But do you guys believe that the market itself is rational or irrational?
Oh man. I think they make it to where,
because people do buy on emotion.
Man.
People are buying like IBM and you name it, like XRP.
I think it's
Why?
structured in a
Because they
way to the
have
people
conviction
where the
about it.
people are controlling it, or people who are manipulating it make it seem irrational, but there's always some structure behind the movements and the timing of these runs and drops. I don't think it's irrational, but they make it seem like it is. Because a lot of people just like, oh, the market just went and took a dump for no reason. Well, there's usually some kind of reasoning behind it.
Oh, there's always a reason. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a cause and effect. So the markets move because of something somebody did somewhere. I mean, either like when it comes to crypto, usually if there you see a price dump, there's some news that either already came out or that's about to come out. It's like Aave got hacked, or there's been an exploit or something like that. Pretty much with AI and trading bots and X402, and if you know how to cobble that stuff together, you can have it constantly monitoring social media and news. And as soon as something pops, it can determine, if depending on how well you fucking train it and put it together, it can buy or sell or do whatever to take advantage of that piece of news. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with these markets. And to be honest, it's a big reason why I don't trade. Is I don't understand it deep enough. And I'll admit, if I don't know about something and I don't understand it deep enough where I want to compete with AI, it's easy enough to identify, like I feel like, good solid projects that you can invest in long term and just sit on your hands and don't do anything. That's my investment strategy. Are all my picks going to be winners? History has shown that all my picks are not winners. Still to be determined on some of them, but Casper, I lost a bunch of money on Casper. I lost a bunch of money on Kita. I lost a bunch of money on what else? Casper. Oh, Flare. Not Flare.
Casper, not Caspa, right?
Yeah, Casper.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
The not so friendly ghost.
It was definitely
Phantom?
not friendly to my portfolio. Plume. I made a bunch of money. Actually, I made a bunch of money on Plume because I made a bunch of yield at the very beginning, peeled that off into other projects. If it wasn't for that, though, I would have lost my ass on fucking Plume. But it sucks because it's a great tech. It's a great ecosystem. It's just being mismanaged. Their airdrop, they fucked it up with their airdrop. The cartoon bird, the marketing sucks. If it's trying to be like an institutional RWA, ecosystem, cartoon birds, as your mascot or, is not the fucking
Carson
marketing.
Burns, like The Simpsons. Burns.
No,
Mr.
birds, like
Birds.
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 Oh, okay, okay.
No, they have
Do
like
you
a
guys remember
cartoon.
Brat? That Brat on base. It was like
Oh.
a blue whatever club, boys club, whatever. It was a meme. It was called like the unofficial meme for base. Brat. Brett.
Brett, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Because I think I got airdropped a few tokens or something.
Yeah, because most of what I see in the market are people reacting emotionally to it. It's lots of emotion. And then people will reason out, okay, what happened? So let's look at what happened. That's why people panic sell. Isn't that why people panic sell? Because they panic and then they sell.
Like I said, emotion
Mhm.
is they see something that makes them emotional. They don't think about it. They don't verify the information. They don't, do any logical steps. There's like, oh shit, I saw this. All of a sudden your heart jumps up into your throat. Shit. I got to sell or I got to buy. Hurry, FOMO in, whatever. And you do it. And usually when you do that is towards the top because other people that have this dialed the fuck in, that have a lot more money and understand it a lot more, they got in down here. So that by the time you're buying in on those green candles, they are dumping on you. They are fucking taking profits on the way up. They have it all dialed in. They have certain amounts that they DCA out. And
I agree. Yes.
And once they're done, that's when it tops out, and that's when you get the fucking pullback, and it almost always happens. Especially during token launches at the very beginning, you always see it because that's when VCs dump. That's when all the early investors dump, depending on the token unlock schedule and all that investing. But you need to understand these details because if not, you're gonna get wrecked. If you try to do advanced shit like some of these influencers try to show you how to do when you don't understand it at a deep level, one, you're hoping that they know what the fuck they're talking about. And two, even if they do, you're hoping that they have your best interest at heart and they're not just one of those that got in early and they're using you for exit liquidity. Or three, they are totally ignorant and have no idea what they're talking about. So if you're hearing about it on social media or an influencer's talking about it, you're too late. Do not FOMO in, do not sell. Just fucking pump the brakes, go and do some research. Because that's what I've learned about being in these markets, like pretty much all day long for the past 5-6 years.
Do not react emotionally.
Yeah. I'm gonna go refill my drink.
Because kind of the game is rigged against you. Yeah, you're talking about certain products on DeFi. I believe that most people do not understand liquidity pools. And that's why I remember the guy from Crystal. If you happen to remember Crystal, it's like crystal.app. It was kind of a website to manage liquidity pools. And I remember they were saying that at least half of people in liquidity pools, they lose money. And I would say that's like 80% of, it's kind of, David speaks beautifully. He talks beautifully about how liquidity pools actually work. But it's very enticing that you can get like 300% APR. But if your principal keeps going down, it might not be worth it.
Well, yeah, he brings up a good example when the Trump meme coin launched. He got in like that day and put in a massive amount, but then he got out quick. Too.
Well, basically, in layman's terms, what David talks about is, and I say in layman's terms, how I've learned to describe it because I'm not super technical. But the way that he explains it is that it's the velocity, I think is what he called it. So what happens is you put your liquidity in, and yes, you're earning an APR, but earning an APR has to outpace the money that you make in fees for providing liquidity. Have to outpace. Hold on, let me make sure I get this right. I've had a couple of drinks. What's
The
that?
impermanent loss, DIL.
Yeah, the impermanent loss. Thank
Yeah.
you. Like I said, I had a couple of drinks. So the impermanent loss, and the impermanent loss is when you enter into a liquidity pool. It's two assets. It's either a stable coin like USDC and something like Bitcoin or Ethereum, where basically one stays stable, but the other one moves. And as it moves, separately, it's called divergence. As it moves separately, either down or up, you're going to basically lose money, and because you're DCAing out of the overperforming asset into the underperforming asset.
Right.
So it's just David. It's crazy to me that so many people like take like stabs at David, and I don't care if they take them at me, because I'm not as smart as a lot of these 10-pound heads in the room, but he's one of the most fucking intelligent dudes that I have met in crypto. And it's not just because he's on this channel. It's the whole reason that
he really knows what he's talking about. Yeah.
Well, me and Jeff, we like went out and found David because I was watching him not on another channel, but I heard about him through another channel. And I'm not going to get into details because it's like an inside joke that I won't tell David how I found him and how I like lured him in. But it honestly, it took time to
forget about it.
Forget about it. No, but honestly, I purposely went out and sought David out to join, DeFi crypto and airdrops, which became the Node Network once we all kind of entered into a partnership. But David is one of the smartest people that I've met in crypto. He understands at a very deep level protocols and the technology and dApps and the markets, both TradFi and DeFi. He knows all about liquidity pools and liquidity provision. He makes his entire living off of crypto investing, stock investing, traditional TradFi, and using DeFi to do arbitrage, interest rate arbitrage, and and looping strategies, and all those advanced strategies that we teach for free on our website. He's the one that built all that. So no, it's like, me and Jeff purposely went out and found David and was like, come to us, come. It's like, we got candy.
No, David really knows what he's talking about.
We have candy, David.
No, he really knows what he's talking about.
Well, he's really opened my eyes to the whole what projects actually have value, and it's made me rethink everything about my investing strategy. Because I know when we were doing all the deep dives on projects last year, or the past couple of years on DeFi, crypto, and airdrops, we'd cover the team, the project, and everything. We're like, oh, this looks like a good project,
right.
and but we didn't understand tokenomics like that. And
the part that we didn't grasp yet was the value capture aspect.
Yeah.
So that was always my struggle, is figuring out how to value these new assets, these new digital assets. Because up until now, it's been pure speculation. It's just whatever people talk the most about and talk the best about is what gets the attention and gets people excited and emotional and gets them to buy it, because the more attention something gets, the more people buy it, the more the price goes up. And
that's Doge. Yeah.
That's every meme coin. And, so it's, so I've always kind of wondered, how is it that these are going to be valued? Because at some point you're going to have to value them like a regular business. I always use the example of Shark Tank. If you've ever watched an episode of Shark Tank, it's almost like a script. Every time somebody goes up there and pitches their idea, the sharks always ask the same questions. What was your sales this past year? How many customers do you have? What is your cost of production and your overhead and operations? They ask the same types of questions because based off those questions, it's a very simple formula to figure out what is your business worth at its current state. What is it worth? And if you're asking $100,000 for 20%, your company better be worth $500,000. If you are valuing that 20% at too much money, then they're going to call you on it. They're going to say, this is your sales. You have no sales and you're pitching us an idea. This is an angel investor. This isn't, where I want to be. Like, I want to be where you've gotten the traction you're making the sales, you're resonating with people, but I want to invest to take you to the next level. I'm looking because I've been the COO of multiple companies, and one of them was a tech company. I've sat in the room with CEOs and CFOs, and I've sat in the same room in Manhattan in MasterCard's headquarters and many other tech companies when I was living in New York. I've sat in on board meetings and had discussions at very high level discussions, about, and we had to sign NDAs, and that's why I understand what an NDA is. I understand what an MOU is. I understand what a lot of this terminology is because I've been there. And I don't know. It's hard to get people to understand that there has to be a standard at how to value these things. And the best one that I've seen so far, and the one that I'm seeing resonate on news networks and on social media, and everyone is starting to say the same thing and use that same term, value capture.
Right.
And it's like, does that token somehow in the tokenomics have a connection to the fees and revenue that that project or that business generates from its product and or services? It's really that simple.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many projects I've seen over the years in the airdrop space that had these massive valuations. I'm talking like 500 million to $1 billion plus valuations, and within 6 months of launching, it's just a dead project.
Well, dude,
and
that's why
how do you value these so high?
Well, that's why we talk so much about XRP. Is it is like a $70 billion, has a market cap of $70 billion. And
no value capture.
No, it has zero value capture. There is literally, we posted a video on our website that details why XRP does, as a bridge currency, it does not need to be a high value. Why do you think? I don't want to go down the road, but it's, if you valued Ripple the company, not even XRP, Ripple the company right now, is it worth $70 billion? There's no connection between XRP, the token, and Ripple as far as it being a stock. It's not a security. It's not a stock. You have no claim, legal or otherwise, to the fees or revenue that are generated by that company. That's the truth.
Yeah, I don't think it does, but a lot of people do.
Bullish news that you hear about adoption or about, Ripple and buying Medico or buying any other company that they buy, that means jack and shit.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of followers. XRP does have I'm going to say, like, XRP has a lot of followers, has very good marketing. I think it dominates the crypto influencers all over YouTube. So it has a lot going for it. I'm not saying that it's a good project. I don't believe in a project, but it means that number go up. And it has been going up for how long?
Because of emotion. Dude,
correct.
They got
because
me.
the market is emotional.
I'm not above it. I call it like I see it. I have no ego. It's
the market is emotional. That's why we have Fartcoin.
On my porch,
and
on my porch, and I was drinking my morning coffee. I was scrolling through TikTok, and I saw a bullish post. It might have even been Mickle. Might have been Good Morning Crypto. It was one of those, and they said all the right buzzwords and got me all excited.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I had invested in Shiba Inu already. And I was like, you know what? I want to find something that's more serious. This sounds serious. And I went on CoinMarketCap and I was like, oh, it's one of the top projects. It must be legit. I mean, I went through all the same processes that most people do when they come into crypto. I'm not like a super genius. I never claimed to be. I got emotional. They got me emotional about it. And my limited knowledge on how to do research on crypto, I was like, it looks like it checks out. I'm going to start investing in it. I was in the top 2% of XRP holders. I had more than 40,000 XRP.
Did you hear that, Moneymaker XRP?
Dude, it was my largest holding. And I made a bunch of money off XRP. Like I said, you
Right.
can
So
make
it
money.
worked out for you. It did work out for you.
I bought, my average buy-in was 32 cents. I sold at $2. And the whole
There you
time
go.
up, I was telling people, take profits, you can go back and look. We don't delete posts. I was like, take profits, through $1, $2, $3. You know, when it maxed out at like $3.40 something cents or something like that, I was like, take profits, damn it, take profits, take profits. And people didn't. And some people did. I get messages all the time with people thanking me about what I'm saying about XRP, that they got out just in time, or they got out and they actually made money because they didn't diamond hand because it
Right.
was on its way to $100 or something.
Yeah. I think XRP is a good enemy to have. You know, if you have like people.
I'm that guy on what was that, Hercules, when that old dude that's standing there and all the arrows are flying at him.
Oh, okay.
Or on 300,
Gulliver.
when the arrows will blot out the sun. That's what I feel like every morning when I wake up and go on X. I feel like the Persians are just like shooting all their arrows, and I'm just like, it's almost like a golden shower. I'm just like, give it to me. Give it to me.
I think it's a good rival. Seriously, I'm saying like this as a viewer as well, because it's so entertaining. Like, what is there to watch if there's no conflict and no back and forth? You know,
dude, I'll be honest. There is some theater in what we do, but the message, the fact.
No, I know.
No, I'll be honest. It's like, I'm trying to get people talking. I'm trying to get people engaged to look at the entire picture. I don't want people to sell any of their assets unless they look at the data and they see where they make their logical, fact-based decision to sell or buy that asset. I don't want to influence anybody. I just want to give them the other side of the story. That's why when I talk about Canton, I talk about Arrow, anything that's one of my largest bags, I'll point out the good and the bad. It's the same thing with politics. You have to look at everything from both sides. You have to respect data, not take it blindly. These days, you still have to dig and verify that the data is real. It has never been.
And even still, it might not work out, because I really have a thesis that the market is irrational and the market is moved by emotion. And that's not my idea. If you read Robert Schillis from he wrote Irrational Exuberance, and the whole book is about how people are irrational in the markets. So that's why
people are irrational in general.
That's what I think.
People by nature, they're pack animals. Like if you understand like the base psychology of a human, it is really, really easy to read people. And I was trained in it for 22 fucking years on how to read people and how to, that all that genre. And it's why I live in a cabin out in the woods, because whenever I'm in, the cities, I can look around, and just because of how people carry themselves, mannerisms, micro expressions on their face, you name it, I can read people. And it honestly, it's like overstimulation, because I don't know. It's but
so if the market is emotional, we should see where, that's how I think. We should see where the attention is going, and we can, it's not mandatory, but we can trade on that. That's why I don't judge people that are trading meme coins and that they're trading where the attention is.
As long as they understand that the price is directly tied to the attention. That's all we're trying to do, is just get people to understand
a logical process. Even if the market moves emotionally, is what you're saying, right?
Just so they understand what is moving the price. Is it emotion? Is it community? Is it attention? Is it value capture? Whatever it is, we just want them to understand what is moving. Actually, thank you, Paulo. I'm actually going to start using that. That is all we're trying to do. Is we don't care what you invest in. If it's a meme coin, just understand that
Right.
it's based off attention. It's based off of mind share and
Since
social
we are
media.
since we are saying good things about David behind his back, David says one thing is
Never.
he says no.
Never,
We're saying good
never
things.
tell David good things to his face. His ego is already way too big.
No, but here's one thing. He's not going to watch this. I know him. So he says, like, show me the charts, and I'll tell you the news.
Yeah.
So it says, like, show me the numbers. What's going on within the numbers? And then we can discuss, oh, Trump had a bad day. He's sad, she's sad, whatever. But let's look at the hard data and see what happens.
Well, David, I suspect, is slightly autistic. And I don't mean that in a bad way. No, I don't mean that in a bad way. Mm-hmm. He is very high level, like I said, high level intelligence when it comes to like focused. And it's probably because he's Jewish, but when it comes to finances and money,
that's for sure.
He is like dialed the fuck in. You know, it's like there's other things, and he's actually gotten really good. I'm really proud of him. You know, fucking all joking aside, I'm really proud of him. At he's modified his whole life. I need to check in and see if he's still keeping up with it. But he like cut down on drinking, started working out every morning, going on swims, and like has shed a bunch of weight. He's done a bunch.
He got some dumbbells and yeah.
No, actually, I didn't. Jeff, remind me in our private chat. We need to check in on him and fucking. I'm sure he's keeping up on it, but I want to make sure. And if he isn't, then he needs to come up here to the cabin. He needs another dose.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. The discipline, because we talk about emotion and people being emotional, and that can cost you a lot of not just money, but time and stress and anxiety, and thinking of ways to wrangle your emotions in so you don't become as susceptible to being influenced by other people or these manufactured outbreaks like COVID and stuff. What are ways that you can mitigate your emotional response to things? And that's one is diet and exercise.
Oh yeah.
Two of the biggest things right off the bat that can help you be less emotional. And
you got to raise your testosterone. You got to do man shit, like chop wood. Yeah, you got to chop wood and shit.
But it's true. Exercise.
Follow. Maybe one of these times you'll have to come up here to the cabin. Like you can come up here and hang out with us and do man shit.
Yeah.
For a change. Yeah.
Guns and
I know.
I'm just joking. I like the invitation. Thank you.
What's that?
Thank you. No, thank you. Yeah, I'm down.
I don't invite just anybody. I don't invite just anybody up to the cabin. You can ask Jeff.
I'm down. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I would love to see more of the project that you're building on your new lands and all that. And that's kind of a topic for your other channel, isn't it? About homesteading and prepping.
No, we're on that channel right now.
Right.
Yeah, unfiltered and sovereign. But I actually just added a new channel because
that's one more.
Well, so there's
for the adventure.
There's Red Pill, there's Sovereign Soil, where I share like my homesteading stuff and how I built my own cabin and lived in a tent. And there's actually an episode where I have all kinds of pictures that I share of because I did all the work myself. I mean, it's about everything from the site prep to the foundation to framing to the roof to the subfloor to electrical, plumbing, all of it. And so I journaled all of it, with pictures. But I added a new channel. Me, my nephew, and my brother Taylor, that used to be on Bullshit and Bourbon with me. It's what Red Pill used to be called. But we actually bought a new 30 acres just down the road from me,
Cool.
And me and my nephew have been like improving the property. We have somebody coming out to, like drill a new well and put in a septic system and do all this shit this coming month. There's this huge 5,000 square foot, like old, beat down cabin that's been there for like over 50 years. I hired a contractor. My brother hired a contractor to come through there and like fucking refurbish it all and freaking, turn it into like a beautiful fucking like 5,000 square foot cabin. And what's cool is it's grandfathered in. So it's like right on the creek. So like, most modern stuff, you're not allowed to be like close to the creek, but since it's been built there for over 40 years, it's grandfathered in. And so we're building that out. But me and my nephew, we're going to be doing hiking guides like day and overnight, like in the area. We're going to be doing
overnight hiking.
Yeah. We're going to be doing kayaking trips, both day kayaking trips and overnight, where you go out to like a massive waterfall. You can kayak out and do cliff diving and stuff like that. And then like you camp out, you can fish if you want. There's like, dude, it's going to be awesome. And then,
wow, that's intense. Like overnight kayaking. Would you be down for something like that, Jeff?
Oh yeah.
Oh no,
yeah,
dude.
And I think that's going to be.
Yeah, Jeff would definitely be down.
Yeah, I think people are going to be starving for that even more. I mean, with all the Big Brother and stuff that is watching us, surveilling us more and more, and the chaos in the world, people are going to really want to get back to nature and having more of a community feel.
Oh, Deadwood!
Not these 15-minute cities and shit. Oh yeah, dude, what's up, Deadwood?
Dude, I haven't seen Deadwood forever. I've been keeping up with you, brother. I've been watching your posts, and I'm seeing the progress you're making on framing out your place, and you got the subfloor and the foundation in.
Your neighbors, his place that he's building?
Your neighbors are a little too close, and unless you know your neighbors and they're fucking friggin' Second Amendment, friggin' libertarians, they're a little too close, brother. You might need to plant some trees, but other than that, looking good.
And you said it's just down the street. I thought it was like far away, so it's less than a mile away.
What's that?
Your new property, your new place.
No, it's about 10 or 15 minutes. It's a country mile. It's what we call a country mile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So no, me and my nephew go over there and clear it, but. And then some of the other stuff we're going to do is we're actually going to buy like 20 airsoft rifles, and I'm going to like basically show people like tactics and stuff like that. And we have all kinds of different scenarios where we can like put them in the mountains, like capture the flag and stuff like that, to where like if family reunions want to come up or guys want to come up and have battles. But we're going to have like a lodge where there's a wet bar and a grill and stuff like that, to where like after you're done shooting each other all day, you can have like a whiskey or a scotch and grill some steaks, and it's just there's gonna be cold.
Very feminine environment. Very feminine. Very feminine.
Yeah, very delicate. Very delicate.
You're cooking steaks and drinking whiskey and shooting guns.
While you're running around shooting people, they sprinkle rose petals in front of you.
Yep.
At the end of the day, you get mani-pedis. It's very, very.
I think that's what women think about all day. You know what I would do? I know, like, cook a steak, be shooting, be out in the woods, overnight kayaking.
Yes. Oh, and then Jeff and David are actually coming out. It's right now. It's scheduled for October. So my brother Taylor. My brother Taylor, my nephew, me, Jeff, David, and a bunch of my brother's buddies from down in Texas. I'm going to take them on like an epic, like 4 or 5 day adventure. So we're going to have airsoft rifles, but it's going to be like, basically it's going to mimic basically a special operations mission. So they're going to get dropped off. I'm going to basically have a truck or a van.
I need to work out for that. Well, do you think we can have the red pill or the node meeting there?
Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to have people role playing. And so like basically somebody will pull up in a van or a truck and act like they're like an indigenous person, and like act like that they're a special forces unit that's inserted behind, enemy lines. And so like, they're going to be, dressed up like, kind of, just normal. And then they get in the van, they'll take them to like the trailhead where they're going to hike up the mountain summit, the largest mountain in the area. I mean, beautiful view. Like in the morning, you wake up and the sun rises. I have pictures that I posted on our website, our official website for the business, Cedar Adventures, and basically wake up to just this beautiful fucking sun.
Can you share the website?
Yeah,
can you share?
It's just cedaradventures.com. Here, I'll show it.
And that's another way to have people give them the ability to control their emotions better, is to put them in, make them go through
high
difficult
stress
situations and high stress.
I'll get to that.
Yeah.
I'll get to that. So this is it. This is the view up there.
This is the view.
I took this with this phone.
Ooh, wow.
That's sick.
That looks like a stock photo.
Well, I hiked up. I hiked up the mountain I started my hike at 2 a.m. so that I could be up there for with a headlamp on, so I could be up there for the sunrise.
Do you have an idea of what the altitude is?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's I want to say it's only 10,000 feet, but it's the highest peak for I don't want to say, it's not thousands of miles, for hundreds of miles. It's the tallest peak.
Oh, I mean like the elevation, because I'm currently at 1,800.
Well, if you want to look it up, it's called Abercrombie Mountain.
Okay.
I'm outing myself. If anybody's trying to dox me,
shit, yeah.
Then I just doxed myself. There you go. I live in the northern Idaho, eastern Washington area.
Yeah. If you try and go find him,
oh my God, elevation 7,300.
Yeah, and so basically, it's about a 5,000 foot elevation change in about 3 miles.
That's a lot.
So I mean,
I live in the mountains in North Carolina, and my current elevation, I can check on my iPhone, is 1,800. 1,800.
Oh, 1,000.
That's nothing. Okay. That's nothing compared to what you're saying.
No. And honestly, that mountain is nothing compared to a lot of mountains. But the cool thing is that so this is what the cabin is going to look like once it's renovated.
That's really cool.
So, these are like big, we want to use big, this is an AI fucking generation, but we're going to go with the black roof. We're going to go with the board and bat sides. And then the pillars out front are going to be giant cedar trees, because the name of the company is Cedar Adventures. So, but yeah, basically what we want to do is have a lodge in here. So like the whole top floor has these massive vaulted ceilings. So I want to put like a big lounge up there, have like a wet bar with like a big massive TV, a pool table. You can sit up there and smoke cigars and drink scotch and shit like that. Second floor is going to be bedrooms, and that people can rent out for the night. And then the bottom floor will be kind of the entry with the check-in, the kitchen, the dining room, things like that. But there's only going to be 5 rooms, so it's not like it's going to be a massive thing, but there's Airbnbs in the area and stuff like that. So that looks like great Airbnb material, because the whole experience that you have surrounding it. Oh, but I was telling you, so over here, there is you basically summit 5 different mountaintops, and you can do it in like 4 or 5 days. And so higher than what you were saying. So basically what we would do is we would drop them off. They would hike up Abercrombie, camp out, kind of like I said, a special forces unit. And then they would hike down the other side to a boat launch. And at the boat launch, a vehicle with an indigenous person would meet them to give them kayaks. And then they would drop off, and then they would drop off their gear, or we could time to the kayaks, which is probably better. And then they kayak down the river. And then they get out at down here, further down the river. So like they would launch here, they would camp midway, and then they would paddle down. And when they got out, the van would be there to pick up the kayaks, and then they would throw their gear on and then go and basically summit 4 more mountain peaks.
4 more mountain peaks.
Yeah. And then, so basically this would be like a 4 or 5 day trip. And then at the end, at the last one, and the whole way along this stretch here, they're getting ambushed. So there's, basically combatants that are, constantly ambushing them and, making it to where they can't, because you're not going to be able to like pitch tents and sleep. I mean, if you're treating it like a military operation, basically, like when you do get a chance to sleep, you're sitting down, leaning against a tree or leaning against your buddy and getting a quick 15, 30 minutes before you have to move out again. And so you're going to be like low on sleep. You're going to get like maybe 1 or 2 meals a day if you're lucky. You're going to be constantly getting shot at and having to fucking run around and exert yourself. You're going to be tired, hungry, beat up. Yeah, it's going to be a test. It's going to be a test of your physical and mental fucking resilience.
Do you think people will still buy XRP after they're done with this?
You know what? I think the testosterone will be so high that they will.
After you're through with all that, can you still? You made it to the other side. Like no, but I'm joking. But I was getting to the point that you're saying like training your emotions, and it seems that you were leading up to it. Something about the financial market on how well you're training your like emotional stability. Because Jeff mentioned something about that.
Oh, putting them through high stress situations and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you do things that are difficult and you voluntarily put yourself in those positions rather than them happening to you circumstantially, it makes life so much easier. Like when I ran track, I put myself out there and punished myself at the track every day after a full-time job for years. And whether it was 100 something degrees out, humid, or in the snow, or the pouring down rain, I voluntarily put myself in these positions and kicked my ass. And now everything, I mean, it's not super easy, but man, it makes life just so much better because Bay Area traffic does test you. I think that's the only time you'll see me get really frustrated is in the Bay Area traffic when everybody's just on the road at the same time. But other than that, man, I'm pretty chill.
But yeah, Mike, it seems that you were about to talk something about like the whole training and how you will come on the other side with more emotional stability.
Well, basically what I was getting at is what Jeff was talking about. The problem that a lot, and I don't mean this in a condescending way, the issue or the problem that most men have these days is they haven't met real diversity or adversity. Sorry, not diversity, adversity. Like I said, I've had a couple of drinks. But most of your personal growth as a man will come, like Jeff said, from struggle, from challenges, both physical and mental, emotional. The more stress you can put your body and your mind through, the stronger and more resilient you're going to become. That is undeniable. It is fact, and it is proven over time and centuries. There is books, manuscripts, scrolls, fucking scripture, you name it, that fucking details it. It is a universal constant. The more that you can put yourself into the fire, when you emerge, you are going to be stronger and more resilient. Always, daily, seek to fucking bury yourself in the fire. Because otherwise, any kind of adversity that you run into, you're going to crumble. It's in your personal relationships with your significant other, with your relationships with family and friends, in business, whatever it is. If you are not strong mentally and physically, then you are going to be conquered by somebody that is. That is the fucking truth.
Right.
You have to have a sharp sword, either physical or mental or emotional. Because if you have a dull weapon, you are going to lose in the battle of life. And I know that sounds weird to talk about life as a battle, but honestly,
Well, it is, isn't it?
Until you get through the battle and get to a place financially to where you can choose what you do from the time that your head leaves the pillow to the time that your head hits the pillow at night, you are in battle. That is the truth. Like David has gotten to a point to where he does what he loves from the time his head leaves the pillow till the time it hits. I'm in the same place. He did it much younger. I did it at 40. But from the time that my head leaves the pillow in the morning to the time my pillow hits, my head hits the pillow at night, I do whatever the fuck I want to do, and I answer to no one. That is and should be a man's dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not be playing with your rubber ducky, right?
Yeah.
Or
it's bad time, you know?
Or
What I
like
do in my
that guy
past
over
is
the
my own
campfire. Be like that guy over the campfire that's like hitting his
Oh,
nads,
smacking, yeah.
smacking his nads. Yeah, I'll fucking speed bagging his nads.
But that's kind of that's a philosophy for life. And that's also almost like the whole David Goggins thing, right? You need to put yourself through adversity voluntarily, and you will end up to be stronger.
Dude, before I forget, Crispy, you know what? If you want, I will invite you up. I will invite you up here. If you want to come up, Crispy, I'll invite you up. If you're interested on going on the journey in October with Jeff and David and everybody, I'll invite you up, brother.
Another vet.
He's a veteran, and he shows up, dude. Actually, you know what? Any veteran out there that hungers for that brotherhood, that hungers for that challenge, that mental and physical challenge, if you want to hit me in the DMs, and if you, I'm not going to pay for it, but if you want to come up here and you want to hang out and you want to do any of this stuff, I am more than happy to take you, free of charge. This isn't a Cedar Adventures thing, but if you want to go up and you want to go on a hike with me, hike with a couple of people, we'll get like a group together. If you want to go on hikes, go on kayaks, as long as it's, like I said, I'm not going to lodge you, I'm not going to feed you, but I'll take you out free of charge. If you want to go out and do some shit, I got you.
That hike that started at 2 a.m. And what time did it finish?
Well, I was up there. It takes about 3 hours to get up, but like I said, all of you out there that served your country and came home and basically got forgotten, come on out, man. I got you.
Yeah, that's so sad to see, man, the way they treat veterans who served the country and put their life on the line. And it's just heartbreaking, man. My dad went through a bunch of shit with the VA and his health and stuff over the years, and just the struggles that he endured trying to get help was like, why?
Jeff, don't make me cry, man. Don't make me cry. No, honestly, initially, that's why I came up here and got this property. Is I was going to do tiny cabins, and I wanted to basically free of charge bring veterans up here with their families and their kids, because a lot of us spent dude, the war on terror lasted for like 20 fucking years, dude. People had kids. The kids grew up and went to fucking college, and the dad or mom saw them maybe 5-6 years of it. They have like no fucking connection. So I basically wanted to give a place where they could come up, stay in a tiny cabin, hang out. There's no internet, there's no cell phones because there's no reception here, as Jeff knows. And basically you can go shoot on the range, you can go hike, you can fucking help in the garden, you can go, hang out by the creek, you can go fishing, you can go boating and just hang out and just be with your family and reconnect. That's initially why I came up here. Unfortunately, the zoning didn't allow it.
Damn. Well, this is a perfect, the Cedar Adventures can be something similar, man, but
that's why I'm
excited. Bigger scale. And yeah.
That's why I'm excited
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, moneymaker. My dad was in Vietnam as well. Fuck. Yeah, that's
No,
and
dude.
grandpa in World War II.
I respect all vets, and even before I was in the military. Like when I was in high school, I used to go to the old folks' home just to listen to and there was actually World War I vets that I talked to, and World War II vets, because I'm an old bastard. And dude, I would just listen to their stories. I wish that we had cell phones back then. You know, 'cause, I mean, this was the 80s and the 90s. I wish we had cell phones and GoPros and shit back then. I would have loved to record.
Do you remember
stories.
anything interesting they said about the First World War?
What's that?
Do you remember anything interesting they said about the First World War?
Well, back when I was in World War One, it was trench warfare.
No, I mean what they said that you heard. I know you didn't go. I know that you heard of it
everywhere.
Yeah, Mike's really 120 years old.
I'm very old. I just look good for my age.
No, Mike, I know you were in like an old folks home.
I'm giving you shit. So, no,
but did you hear anything? Because like World War One, the first World War is like long ago.
Dude, the stories I heard were fucking insane. So, like we, kind of modern warfare, we talk about PTSD and shit like that. Back in the day, they called it shell shock. And it was fucking real, like motherfucking real. People came back and they were like vegetables because of the trauma they went through. Just the constant 24/7 stress, no sleep, constantly under fire, getting shelled, getting gassed, just fucking constant. And you can look it up online.
Especially in the First World War, you're saying?
That's what I'm talking about, is the First World War.
Especially
because they just sat for months in trenches with just everything destroyed. There's movies about it. You can get a taste of what it was. Just fucking destruction. Everything was laid to waste. And there was 2 trenches, maybe, 100 yards, or so apart. And they just sat in the fucking trenches and took pop shots at each other when they could and lobbed artillery at each other. That's basically what the war was. And then lobbed mustard gas to where it burned out people's eyes and their lungs, because it's basically like, chlorine gas and, things like that. It was the first time chemical warfare. Well, not the first time chemical warfare was used, like engineered chemical warfare. Because in medieval times, they used to lob like dead corpses and dead animals over the walls of, like castles and shit like that were diseased, so that, basically everybody inside would get, sick, because they'd cut them off from like food and supplies. Then they would lob, dead bodies and, dead stuff over to basically just, disease people out and just wait and until people gave up. And it just, dude, like once you learn history and warfare, it's crazy. Like, I mean, once you learn history in general, I think this is a big reason, and this goes to the whole topic of this episode. And I know I'm talking a lot. I hope there's value in this. Mm-hmm. But there is a reason why our education system is manipulated like it is. And history is erased. Because if you learn history, you can almost see the future. I'll leave you with that while I go refill my drink.
Facts.
Discuss. A peanut is neither a pea nor a nut. Discuss.
That's what I was wondering, like about the First World War, World War One, because there is no social media, there's no all this politicking around the military. It was like less of everything, and it was the first.
Yeah, and I think what Mike did in high school is super valuable, and I tell people that a lot. Like, seek older people out and just talk to them. Even the elderly and stuff. You can get so much value from their experiences way before there was, even TV. Like, my aunt and uncle are in their 70s and they didn't have TV. when they were kids,
Right.
and just
Dude.
learning about their experiences when they were younger. And
old people are used to be the AI and the Google.
yeah,
Right.
No, if you wanted to know something, you went to somebody older and wiser and you asked them about it.
The oldest and the wisest.
Yeah. No, and that's something cultures have forgotten. You know, the elderly used to be revered. You know, they were the wise.
Tribes and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
They because they knew the seasons. They knew how the game moved. They knew, you know, they saw the ebbs and the flows, and, you know, they understood. And so that's why they were put in high positions to, you know, lead and to guide. You know, they didn't do physical stuff. You know, the young
Today is
did
kind of
that.
the opposite. Like a lot of people, they have disdain for old people. It's like, oh, look at that old fuck.
Oh,
What does
yeah.
he know?
They look,
like the
they look,
opposite.
they look down on them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of value in the wisdom that the elderly hold. You know, not all, but, you know, there's definitely wisdom there.
Yeah, like you're talking to the guys that they were there, you know.
Oh yeah. And then World War II, same thing. I heard a ton of stories. And then I come from as most people, like a lot of military guys do, come from a long line of military people. So my grandfather was in World War II. Two of my dads were in the Army. So my biological dad was in Vietnam, and for multiple tours. My stepdad, who raised me for most of my life, was in the Army, and he was in the first Gulf War.
Wow, who wasn't in the military in your family?
My brother,
the opposite.
well, my brother was in the Army for one enlistment. I did 22 years in both the Army and the Marines, and then I have, you know, like other other members of my family that were all in the military. And but one thing that I learned is that, and this goes back to what Jeff was talking about, you know, with challenging yourself and resilience, and, you know, kind of, you know, immersing yourself in the flames and the fire, and, you know, tempering the steel, you know, the mental and physical steel, is that going in the military, you know, going through boot camp, going through that crucible, you know, going through boot camp, going through different training and challenging yourself, and, you know, changing your MOS to, you know, either mentally or physically challenge yourself. I went through like 7-8 different jobs in the military, and all of them challenged me in different ways, you know, mentally and physically. And if you're not doing that as a man, I know this is going to be hard to hear, but you're not a fucking man. If you're not constantly challenging, evolving, growing, building, becoming a better version of yourself, you're not a man.
Yeah, I think me and Mike are secretly brothers in some way, because both our dads were in Vietnam, and then I was raised by my stepdad since I was like 3 years old.
What was your dad's name?
Our dad's names are Steve. Our
stepdad's
names are Steve.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Brothers from another mother.
It's so funny. And I got a bunch of family that's in the military, and my stepdad was in the Army. My brother was in the Army. I got.
All right, Jeff. I'm going to put you. I'm going to put you through a simulated special operations mission.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh man, it's funny.
You know what, Jeff? You honestly, you probably would have done really well in the military.
I know Rob tried to get me to. He tried to recruit me.
Honestly, just the way that you like to challenge yourself, you would do really well in the military, and how structured and analytical you are. You would have done really well. Like, you know, you probably could have been like, I could definitely see you as a Green Beret, but like specifically an 18 Fox. So basically like Intel specialist as an 18 series. I could, because you got the brains and the physical ability. And I'm not saying that to, you know, because you're my boy. I'm saying that because I know what your physical capabilities are, and I've seen what your mental capabilities are. And I spent 16 years of my military career in special operations units. So I know the type of people that excel and that do well.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty much putting together a boot camp. Is that kind of related to the Navy SEALs or the Green Berets? Do you have any inspiration like that?
Paulo,
Because that's what it feels like.
you
It's like,
got to pay attention, man. I just got done saying I spent 16 years in Army Special Forces.
yes.
That's the Green Berets.
Okay.
So
it is based on the
one
Green
of the few
Berets.
times that I'm gonna say this. So if I can snip this or whatever, because like I said, I don't have an ego. I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. I spent 16 years in 1st Special Forces and 19th Special Forces, and did a ton of training. So I understand all of that stuff. But yeah. No,
So kind of the boot camp you're putting together. Can I call it a boot camp?
Well, yeah. No,
Or the training?
Basically what it is, I'm going to do my best to make it like a special operations, mission, where you get, fucking dropped off, fucking infield, where, you meet up with a local indigenous person. They fucking give you transportation to some place to where you'd fucking, make your way to whatever your mission is, accomplish that mission, and then have to make your way out and, basically get exfilled. So, but the whole time, like I said, you're going without food, you're going without sleep, you're getting constantly attacked. Fucking when somebody gets hit, they have to fucking, medic, and, the medic has to fucking, render aid. And I'm going to make it as like accurate as possible. Obviously it's not going to be exact, but make it as accurate as possible.
Survival.
Because
survival.
Then when people that do this, when they watch a movie like Lone Survivor or something like that, and they're like, oh, I could do that. All right.
Go do it.
Let's see if you can, fucking come on. Fucking I'll put you, it's not the same. Don't get me wrong.
Just the fact that you got to hunt, literally hunt to eat, that's something else.
No. You don't have to hunt to eat. You'll have rations just like you would in the military. It's just, but you're going to have to, operate off of, you might go, 24 hours, 48 hours with no sleep. And then you might get like a 30-minute nap leaning against a tree with your pack on, and it might be raining. It might be snowing. It might be hailing. You don't know. And then after a 30-minute nap, you got to get up after 24 hours of no sleep and walk another 12 hours before you get to sleep again. But it's just curled up next to your buddy to stay warm. There's no tent. There's no sleeping bag. There's maybe, a woolly pulley. There's maybe like a fucking whoopee that you pull over yourself to, try to be a little bit warm. And maybe you get like 2 or 3 hours of sleep. And then you got to go for another 24 hours. And maybe during that time, you're not starting a campfire and warming up, a meal. You're eating an MRE, or, you're fucking, pouring some hot water into something. You're just getting calories. It's not enjoyable. It's painful. It's miserable. It sucks. But like I said, it's going to challenge you.
And from what you're saying, I get the feeling that this is like a brotherhood, is like a real bonding experience if you're doing this with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I get the feeling from what you're saying, it's like more than family. When you go through this kind of hurdle together, this kind of challenge together, you can really bond.
It is. It's a brothers in arms. It's you've been through something together. You accomplish something together. It's what a lot of men are lacking these days, is that brotherhood, that camaraderie. Like I said, it's at our base. Humans are pack animals, and we are forced into this solitude that is unnatural.
Agreed.
And it's like, yeah, when you're alone, a lot of times you grow stronger. I mean, look at a pack of wolves. When a lone wolf challenges the alpha and loses and is sent out on its own, it either dies or it gets really fucking strong because it doesn't have the pack. It has to chase down its own food and catch its own food. It's not a group effort. So there's a lot more exertion. There's a lot more calories that are burned. you start getting down to that base animal instinct. That's what a lot of men are lacking these days. It's just that base animal instinct of, when it comes to fight or flight, it's always fight. And I don't mean that in a negative way. You need to have discipline and know when that fight needs to be unleashed. But you need to be capable of great violence.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not capable of great violence, then you're not a humble or a gentle person. You're a weak and inept person.
Right.
That's
factually
strong,
true.
capable man is able to exert great violence to protect his loved ones and those that he cares about, and what he's responsible for. And you need to be able and capable of being that person.
Well, and you see that in these certain altercations or confrontations when people are drunk or out at bars. The loudest people are usually the ones that can't do shit. And the quiet ones that sit there with a smile on their face, like, you don't want to do this, buddy, are the most dangerous ones.
Dude, that's why I laugh on X, like when people call me a pussy and stuff like that. I'm like, if you only knew.
Oh,
and I don't say anything more than that. Like I said, I have no ego. I'm not trying to come off like a badass or anything like that. It's just, I have done a lot more than a lot of people out there.
Dude,
exactly.
That's so good.
Dude, Crispy, Sun Tzu, The Art of War.
Yep.
Rather be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in war.
Right.
Exactly. I choose peace now. I want nothing but peace and tranquility. And I want to enjoy life. I want to have my family, like my nephew that's here. I want to have my family close. My brother, that's doing this business with me. Honestly, I don't care. And he's even said it. I don't care if we make $1. I just want to enjoy ourselves. Dude, that's where I'm at.
And it seems that you enjoying the process as well. Aren't you enjoying the process?
Dude, every man should love creating. And if you can create something with people that you care about, like I said, my nephew that's here, my brother, if you can create something with the people that you care about and have fun doing it, dude, that's the fucking dream.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because some people don't even have that. Some people don't have any community, or much less talk to their family, or, and it's sad. It really is. My brothers are my best friends. I love,
dude, and
talking
honestly,
shit and hanging out.
It like I said, and there's a lot of vets out there. Oh, excuse me. There's a lot of vets out there that I know are in a dark place. And if you see this by some weird chance, I know there's 60 people watching right now. I hope this makes it to you. If you're in a dark place, reach out to me in your DMs. I'm not promising you that I can pull you out of that place, but give me a chance. That's all.
That's nice.
Give me a chance.
That's the whole Rambo story, isn't it? When I watched Rambo, the first one, it's a guy coming from war and he's alone and he doesn't have a community. Yeah. And not even the sheriff in the town likes him. Like, he's going back to where he belongs, but he feels that he doesn't belong there any longer.
No, it's just I want people, especially veterans out there. I want you to know that there's somebody that will listen. Like I said, I'm not promising you that I'm going to fix your problems or anything like that. I'm not going to lie to you. But if you are in a dark place and you see this, reach out to me in the DMs. You can find me on X. It's in the the links are below and all that stuff. But reach out. I'll talk with you. And
because it's hard to relate to people when they haven't experienced the things that you've experienced. As far as veterans go.
That's the thing, is that a lot of veterans, and it happens to a lot of us, we leave the military, and I talked to maybe one or two of the people I was in the military with, all that brotherhood, that we, bought into, to be honest. And I know there's people out there that, they're probably still in deep contact with some of the people, but I see this a lot. You leave the military, they're still in the life, they're doing the things and the stuff. and they're not able to talk to you about it anymore because you're not in the military. You're not, it's not need to know. It's, security clearance, all that kind of stuff. And it happened to me. I got out and they're just like, well, yeah, I can't talk about it. We're training for something. We're going somewhere and doing a thing, and it's just like, okay, well, fucking have fun. And it's just, you slowly fucking drift apart. It's like an ex-girlfriend, you just fucking drift apart, never to fucking speak again. It happens.
Yeah, reach out, man. Don't be afraid to talk.
Well, should we wrap this up?
Yeah,
man,
can I ask you something real quick about just what do you think about the current war around the Strait of Hormuz? Do you think they will send ground troops? That's one of the things that people keep talking about.
Jeff?
Because that would completely change the scene. That would completely change the approach if they send in ground troops.
I don't think so, but you never know. I mean, you never know with Trump, because one day he's, we're in negotiations. The next day, we're not talking to them anymore. So there's a lot of back and forth. So it's hard to really tell what exactly is going to happen or what's going on. So
from a military standpoint, it changes the whole fucking ball game. As soon as there's like real boots on ground, because don't get me wrong, I guarantee you there has already been boots on ground. There's been Navy SEALs lasing targets. There's been, intel, fucking people. There's been, CIA. There's been somebody that has been boots on ground, influencing things, organizing things, doing stuff and things, training people, doing something this whole time. Officially, if boots fucking hit the dirt, hit the sand there, that changes this whole freaking thing. So
for the worse or for the better, or it depends, right?
That remains to be seen. I'm not going to pretend to know the answer to that. But it is a well-known fact in Intel, the Intel community, that Iran is a huge sponsor for terrorist organizations. They fund a lot of that shit. Like when we were in Iraq and Afghanistan, they were sending people to train, fucking operatives, groups of people, the same stuff that we do. We're not, again, I'm going to call it like I fucking see it. I have no biases. The U.S. has done this forever. They did it to the Russians in Afghanistan in the 1980s. There's a whole movie about it. It's called Charlie Murphy's War or Charlie something's War. But basically what it is it's the story, the real story about how we were trying to subvert Russia's attempts to take over Afghanistan. So they
Charlie Wilson's War.
Charlie Wilson's War. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
I could never.
Tom Hanks.
Yes, I can never remember that.
It's a good movie. Should I watch it?
Very good movie. I highly suggest you watch it. So the whole premise of the movie is that they sent special forces and CIA into Afghanistan to train the Afghanis in improvised explosives, guerrilla warfare tactics. Is this starting to sound familiar? Because this is the shit that they used against us during this current war. All of the tactics that the Taliban and fucking all of them were using against us were tactics that were taught to them by the U.S. military and the CIA back in the 1980s. Mm-hmm. So this is why I'm such a proponent where the U.S. needs to get out of everywhere. We need to worry about, we have enough of our own issues. We need to worry about ourselves for a while.
I agree. But how likely is that to ever happen? You remember Julian Assange? Julian Assange, he said the whole premise of the industrial military complex is to do like never any wars. So I think it's just like the market. When people say that the market is manipulated, My question is, when wasn't the market manipulated?
It's always been manipulated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Crispy, my fellow devil dog, we caught an Iranian bomb maker. They picked that guy up faster than a medevac and put a bag on his head. I know I can guarantee you, I can tell you exactly who picked him up. And probably if you told me where you were stationed at the time, I could probably tell you exactly where they took him to. But
and that's a conversation for the DMs.
Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't Iranian though. Right? Yeah, he wasn't Iranian though. It's like, yeah, people don't show up that quick and throw fucking bags over heads unless it's like a high value asset.
And just one more thing. Do you got, because we see that like there's war, there's this conflict, but the talk that I see about this current war is that it's different, or current conflict. It depends on how people want to name it. It seems that there is a little bit more to it.
Hold on, hold on. I'm messaging Crispy in the
Well,
chat.
the biggest thing, their biggest talking point was the nukes, and my problem with that is that Netanyahu's been talking about that since the 90s, and he's been pushing this. Iran is, weeks away or months away. And that's been my biggest issue. They could tell us the truth and say, oh, it's for resources, it's for this and for that. But their biggest selling point is they're almost capable of nuclear weapons. But Iran. But
do you think they're capable of nuclear weapons?
I mean, how close? Not any closer than North Korea.
Okay. Do you think they have nuclear weapons at all? I know it's an easy question.
They had them fully developed. They might have had certain resources to a point, but like even in North Korea, they have nukes, but they don't have the range. Like they can't, right? Isn't that? I think they can't fire them to certain lengths.
I wonder if they have them at all.
Honestly, I can't say with absolute certainty. It's again, I'm not going to pretend like I know something I don't. But one thing that I do know is with their relationships with China and Russia and North Korea and things like that, they were working on uranium enrichment, which is required for weapons, nuclear weapons.
So that's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact.
I think they had it enriched to like 60%. Is some of the numbers I've heard.
I like I said, I'm not going to pretend like I know, but they were working on it. Honestly, with as crazy as that government was, they need to be fucking shut down. So no qualms with that. But let's be real. I'm going to call it like I see it. Our fucking government, it does a lot of shady ass shit. Look what Hillary Clinton did in Libya with fucking Muammar Gaddafi.
Fucking knife in the ass.
Dude, he basically was put into power by the US government and then taken out of power in a very dramatic way by the US government.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's the truth.
Yeah, that's the line of thinking that I believe more, because it's all about power and force, and there are no saints. There are no good guys in this story, it seems.
When it comes to governments, power, and money, no.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's good people in there, but as a whole, it's honestly not. I don't feel it's a good thing. Anytime anybody gets too much power, it attracts a certain type of person.
Yes.
And anytime anybody has too much money or too much power over the lives of other individuals,
yes,
nothing, almost never, nothing ever good ever comes of it.
You just summarized my whole political outlook. That's exactly how I think about politics. So yeah, because I don't think about this like right, left, Democrat,
I
Republican.
don't either.
It's like more. It's all about like power. It's always a power struggle. That's all I see. You know.
That any ruler or any measure tool that you use to measure anything, if it's politics, if it's crypto, if it's life, if it's relationships, whatever it is, if it's not universal, if you don't use that same measure on everything, things you agree on, things you disagree on, whatever, you have to apply the same unit of measure to everything so that you are judging everything in an equal measure so that the data that you get back is there's continuity there. It's an apples to apples to where it all syncs up and gives you truth. It gives you facts. Because if you're judging something you disagree with much harsher than something you agree with, you're just going to continue to stay lopsided.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember going to Bitcoin meetups where it was not allowed for you to talk to anything else other than Bitcoin. So they were completely like hooked on it.
Holy shit. So we got like 50 fucking people watching on X and like 3 people watching on freaking YouTube. So all of you on X need to come over and like keep Crispy and everybody in the chat company. So go to Unfiltered and Sovereign. Actually, Jeff, are you able to like copy and paste that? I'm kind of buzzed.
Oh, and let's all have a salute and a drink to David because he won the game show tonight. Hey!
Oh, really? Okay.
Well,
that's cool.
He always does.
Yeah. Let me pull up the old YouTube.
No, but come over to YouTube and to join the chat because that's what feeds this show and all of our shows is thank you. Unfiltered and Sovereign. So come over to the YouTube chat because then you can ask us questions. You can make fun of us. You can do whatever you want. We're all about free speech here.
Mike, I just saw a very nice comment on X right now. I just opened on X and Protos XRP at Protos XRP just said, "You guys kick ass. I love you expose the XRP zero value capture and dumping racket it is." So that's an XRP guy. What's going on?
It's honestly, I think that we're giving a full picture, and not all, but some people are looking at it, and it is leading them because obviously if they invested in XRP, they've been listening to stuff about XRP, but everything has been bullish. We are just giving the other side of the picture, and so that they can make a balanced decision. And if they are resonating more with what we are saying, with the facts and the data and the things that we are putting out, as opposed to the buzzwords and the hype and the hopium of if and maybe and when, and there's secret NDAs, and everything is just around the corner. Just you got a diamond hand. I've listened to that for 5 years, some people longer than that, about XRP and other projects. I am looking at projects again. Do they have real adoption? Do they have fucking customers? It's pretty fucking basic. If a business doesn't have customers, it's not going to be in business very long. Second, does it make fucking money? Does it generate fees or revenue? Because if it doesn't make fucking money, they can't pay employees. They can't keep the lights on. They can't develop. They can't grow. They can't market. They can't do anything. I was an operations manager for multiple companies. I understand this at a deep level. You need to have revenue to grow. It's just how it fucking works. And then third, the token, what you're buying. Is there a connection to this to the success of the company, and if it's not a security, and if it's not a stock, then no, it doesn't. And or the revenue or fees generated. And if there isn't something in the tokenomics, if there isn't a burn mechanism, if there isn't something that moves that revenue, that value to the token through making it deflationary or something like that, you are holding a meme token. You are the bootstrap liquidity for that project to build their products and services to hopefully get profitable so that they can make money and keep dumping the token so that they can fund operations to make that business. And then once they're successful, they're not going to care about you. Because why? That is why there are governance tokens. That is why there are tokens that are purely for gas. You need to understand these assets. Please, I'm begging you, do not invest in these assets until you do some sort of education. Ours is free. Go to the node.pro. Jeff, if you want to show that, please.
Yep.
We offer a whole course for free. There's no catches. There's no gimmicks. You don't got to put a credit card in. You don't got to pay. Just use it and learn about how crypto works, how wallets works, how DeFi works. Beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Just learn. Before you invest in any project, Jeff is showing you the Intel library. Yeah. Listen to the deep dives. Read through the deep dives. We cite our sources. They're hyperlinked. It doesn't get easier than this to learn about these projects.
And the truth is, Mike, if you go through the whole educational material like I did, and you still come on the other side and you still buy XRP, you're probably a lost cause.
No. Don't I honestly I don't I'm sorry, I don't believe that. You can buy XRP and you might make money.
No, I'm saying, like, just call it what it is. If it's a meme token, just call it what it is.
It depends on how you're investing and why. If you are looking for the next Google, if you're looking for the next Microsoft, if you're looking for the next Amazon, and you're looking long term, you need to understand how businesses are valuated. And if what you own has a connection to that. Because if it doesn't, yes, it's a meme coin for the most part.
It's a meme coin. Yeah. I agree. Like, my beef with those XRP holders for real now, it's that they don't call it what it is, because XRP itself, there's no value capture. And say, okay, but are you aware? But I'm going to say what my problem is with XRP holders is like, oh no, but there are some NDAs. There are some secret meetings. There's like, it's a lot of speculation of things that are not factual.
Exactly. So why is it that all these institutions that potentially have NDAs with Ripple, they're launching on Canton, they're launching on launching on Sol, they're launching on all these other fucking chains and have no problem? They don't need NDAs. They're just fucking launching, and they're generating fees. They're generating revenue, and it's there is no logical reason why these companies would have NDAs with Ripple when, like I said, I dealt with this like after I got out of the military. I got out of the military in 2015. For years, I was a contractor for operations because I'm very detail oriented. I'm very organized. I know how to build successful teams. It's what I did in the military. I know how to identify talent. I know how to put the right people together, because if you tell me what the mission is, I'm able to put the right team together to accomplish that mission. And then I will set basically a timeline, and I will set milestones, and I know how to organize reporting on meeting deadlines and, meeting those milestones and the details of those milestones. It's whenever you are in a business, anytime you're dealing with a business, you have to have a logical, structured mindset. So I don't. I apologize. I've had a couple of drinks.
I was wondering if you could show the trifecta, Jeff. I was looking for it on the node.net. I just don't know how to find it. I love to see that trifecta.
Is it?
Oh, here, I'll show it.
Because I think that's my favorite framework for investing in crypto. Or maybe even in
real
business
quick,
in general.
Shameless plug. Check out my music channel right here. I'm about to drop my second song this weekend. So if you could.
Oh, that's cool.
No, absolutely. No, like Saturday Night Fever with Jeff. If you want a place to chill and just like hang out and chat with people, check him out. He's a pretty big DJ in the San Francisco Bay Area. He's actually done a bunch of videos.
My first song. Yeah.
Well, oh, exactly.
Can you play it, Jeff? Can you play like 10 seconds of it, or is it not allowed?
Yeah, I could play it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Hold on, I might real quick, just so I make sure the volume is playing. Okay. Hold on.
And don't treat it like porn where you got to fast forward through it. Just play the thing, man. Just play the thing. Yeah, I don't want you to fast forward, to the scene. To the scene. Just fucking let it play, dude.
Okay.
Take my shirt off.
I think we should end every show with a song from Jeff.
There you go. The bass drop. Sweet. I like it, man.
Yeah. Yep. So check it out.
That's cool. That is cool.
So this
I'm into the heavy bass music.
I see it. Yeah. If I listen to electronic music, that's the kind of music that I want to hear.
So this is what we've been talking about. So if you watch this, you're interested in crypto long term, I highly suggest, not telling you what to invest in and what not, I highly suggest that you look at this framework, because this is how traditional finance values companies, minus the value capture, but actual adoption. I mean, this breaks it down very simply. Actual adoption. So is there customers? Is there a need for this product or service? That's what it boils down to. Is anybody going to freaking want this? Are people actually freaking buying it? Are people actually fucking using it? Second, are they paying to use it? Because, yeah, a lot of people use Napster, but it was free. If people had to pay,
that's a good point,
$20 a month, would they have paid, would as many people have paid for Napster? Probably not. Some people, yes.
The Pirate Bay.
And if you're not an old bastard like me, Napster was back before you could just get music everywhere.
I use Napster.
If you wanted music, you had to go to a music store and buy a CD or a record, or you had to pay to have it downloaded. So Napster allowed you to get music for free. So basically before that, you had to sit there with a cassette tape, listening to a radio station, hitting the record button. So if you wanted to make a mixtape for your girlfriend. So
Yeah.
basically revenue and fees generated. Does it make money? Because if a business doesn't make money, it's not going to either it's not going to stay in business very long, or they're going to in crypto, they're going to continually dump the token to pay for operational costs. It's simple math. If they don't, we see it all the time. We're folding up shop, we're going out of business, the chain is shutting down, freaking protocol shutting down, whatever. We see it all the time in crypto. When they run out of tokens to dump, or they run out of investors, they run out of revenue, they cannot operate. It's very basic business. And then value capture. Does the token that you're buying have any sort of connection to the fees and revenue that are generated, or the actual adoption or success of the company? And if the answer is no, you're holding a fucking meme coin. And
That's
I'm going to
XRP.
keep saying it.
Write it
That's
down.
XRP.
Put it on your wall.
No value
Study
capture.
it. Learn it. Live it.
All right. Paulo, closing thoughts. I got to go. I got to eat something. My nephew's fucking starving, I'm sure.
Closing thoughts. The market is manipulated. So there's nothing new about that. Whenever people say, oh, the market's being manipulated, I say, yeah, that's what the market is. I don't believe in the free market. And speaking of the trifecta, like Bitcoin doesn't have a value capture, but still is Bitcoin. So one thing that I sometimes when I look at the trifecta, I think to myself, percentage-wise, how much of each parameter can we place Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, Ethereum, so on and so forth?
Totally depends on your investment thesis. If you're commodity where you believe that Bitcoin, because it's perceived to have value and it's value, it has value capture because there's a demand for it. If you believe in speculation, if you believe in speculative pumps and meme coins and things like that, awesome. If you're looking for long-term value and value capture, there's many ways you can look at these assets. We're not saying that our way is the best way. All we're saying is don't get tunnel vision.
Correct. But the trifecta is a good framework. It's a good framework.
It's a good framework. There's many. All we're saying is do not get fucking tunnel vision. That's all we're saying. Jeff, final thoughts.
I like the lights there, Jeff.
Yeah, it's my nighttime lights. Try and keep the blue light to a minimum. Do something difficult every day that challenges you, that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Not something that'll totally make you stress and freak out, but something challenging, whether it's a workout or even taking on a new hobby, that can push you out of your comfort zone too. Something that you're not really good at that you can eventually build up to doing better and better. But yeah, just put yourself in slightly uncomfortable situations voluntarily, and it'll make life a lot easier for you.
Absolutely. And I'm going to skip my closing thoughts because I talked way too fucking much during that.
You've had a lot of good value today, man.
I hope,
appreciate it.
I hope that it gave value to somebody out there. But yeah, I talked enough. I hope you all learned something, had a laugh. I hope something good happened for you during this fucking episode. But Paulo, thank you so much for always showing up. Jeff, thank you for showing up. David,
glad to be here.
If you're watching, thank you for covering for us on the Crypto Game Show. I know that's something that you enjoy. And we didn't have to bring up Jews or anything during this episode. So thank you all and hope to see you next time. Until then, join us tomorrow for the Node Show, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Veteran Crypto out.
Peace out.